This video goes with the mitotic index activity. What a mitotic index is a ratio of the number of cells in mitosis versus the number of cells that are in interphase. Furthermore, the mitotic index can also tell us how long each phase of the cell cycle is based on how many cells we observe in each of those phases. For this activity, you will need to scroll to the end of the mitotic index activity and find the image that corresponds with your first name to see which image you were assigned to. So I have my image here, which is not one of the choices, but I'm going to do this as an example so that you can identify what you're supposed to do with your image. Looking at your image and my image, I can see that there's a variety of cells in the picture. The goal is to identify which phase are each of those cells in. Some of the phases are easier to identify than others, so I'm going to start with the phases that I feel are easiest. During this, you're going to color code your image also. All right, so for me, metaphase is really easy to identify. So I'm going to identify all of the cells that are in metaphase, and I'm going to color them with what I chose as the pink color. So in metaphase, I think it's easy to identify because all the DNA is lined up in the center of the cell. So I see a cell here that is in metaphase, so I'm going to color that cell. I see another one over here on the right where all the DNA is in a line in the center of the cell. To me, on my picture, those are the only two that I see that are in metaphase. So you will pause the video and color any of yours where you see that the DNA is lined up in the center of the cell. Then, moving on, I feel that anaphase is also pretty easy to identify. I can identify anaphase because the DNA is starting to split such that some is moving to one side of the cell and some is moving to the other. Here in the center of my image, I see a cell that's in anaphase, so I'm going to color that one. You'll need to make a color-coded key on the side of your picture with what color you're coloring which phase. So I did red for metaphase, blue for anaphase. You can do whatever you think is good. To me, that's the only one that appears to be in anaphase. I'm now going to go to the ones that are a little bit more tricky. To me, those two are like the easiest to identify. And I'm going to identify telophase. I'll know telophase because I can clearly start to see two different nuclei within the same cell. So like here, I have a cell where I can start to see that there's two nuclei in it. Here is one as well. So it's one cell, but there's like two blobs in it, meaning two nuclei in that cell. To me, those are the only ones that I see. Oh, maybe this one. So you're gonna have to make some judgment calls and, do the best that you can. So those to me look like all the ones that are in telophase. These are a little weird here. I think the picture's overlapping, like there's multiple cells there, but I'm gonna color those too because I feel like I can see two blobs inside of them. Maybe this one too. Then, continuing on, I'm going to color prophase. For prophase, I'm going to look for all of the cells that seem to have like a pile of spaghetti in the center, meaning it's not just all the same color, it's not just all purple, but where I feel like I can see what looks like a plate of spaghetti. So I'm going to say that this one looks like prophase, meaning the chromosomes are condensed, and hence they look a little bit darker. So anything that's not like a solid blob in the center is kind of what I'm coloring. Maybe this one. And you are, like I said, going to make some calls about what you want to specifically define as what. If you get a few cells wrong, it's not a big deal. And then lastly is interphase. Interphase is the longest phase of the cell cycle. So the majority of your images will, or the majority of your cells will be in interphase. In interphase, the nucleus just looks like a round circle. So I'd say all of these are interphase. Interphase, interphase. These here above where I'm coloring, I can't really identify. Like, it looks like there's no nucleus, so I'm just going to leave them blank. I'm not coloring any that are cut off of the side of the image. These to me all look like interphase. That one's probably prophase up top where I'm coloring, but it's cut off the side, so I'm not even going to count it. If you feel like in any of your cell pictures you don't see a nucleus and don't see DNA, then we won't color that. These all appear to be interphase. And then my images on the right are kind of cut off. So then I can count up how many cells do I have in each phase. So for example, metaphase, 1, 2. Prophase, 1, 2, 3, 4. Telophase, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then interphase would be all my others. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. You get the idea. You can count them all up, and then you'll know how many are in each phase.